Hi everyone, it's Stina, aka Getty Girl. It's been a while since I've actually recorded something and I thought I better get on the ball. Um, I created this journal here for Cindy Wilson. You saw a video where I shared what she had sent me, which was a cute um, boho journal. And so I asked her what she wanted in return, and she had said just to do what I wanted to do, something, you know, in my style. Of course, everybody has their own style depending on what the theme is. So this one it was a struggle doing, but I'm happy the way it turned out. And so I decided to do something that was more a children's, either children's poems or children's stories. And I kind of wanted to go that route. And I will say this was a little bit of a struggle for me. Um, but I'm happy the way it turned out. I really am. So I'm just going to get to it. This is a little bit different style of a journal. I don't know if I've seen this on YouTube. I don't think of any of the videos that I've seen this the way this is laid out. I kind of got the idea, I think, from Kathy Orta when she does her little portfolios and she does her overlaps. And so that's kind of where that was inspired from. And where I went with it is I had gotten a bunch of these folders at this warehouse sale. And it's kind of hard to see that on frame, entirely, but this is the way it looks. And what I basically did was I basically chopped it in half, and so you have a top and a bottom, and that's what I'm using. And what I decided to do is make an overlap of pages, and so it's kind of an odd size. It's kind of chunky. I didn't want to take too much room up because I wanted her to be able to put in here what she wanted. And so what I did was I'm just going to get right to it. So I included this charm that I had gotten from Michaels, and it was super cute. And then of course I did this little tassel with some laces and some ribbon. So kind of a cream taupe type thing going on here. This was an old skirt, one of my favorite skirts that I had gotten a stain on, and I decided to go ahead and I was going to give it to Goodwill, and I decided, nope, you know what? I'm going to tea stain it, and I'm going to strip it, and that's what I did. So this is what this is. So this is my closure. Um, Go ahead and unwrap it. What I did on the flap here is I went ahead and sewed a button on it, and I kind of reinforced it on the back side so it wouldn't pop through. And I used a material, I think they call this, oh, what is it called? Something tooth. Something tooth. I know it's something tooth. Um, uh, Design. And I had taken a couple of journal cards and I just kind of overlapped them. So we have Mary Had a Little Lamb, and then we have the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And I actually, what I did was is I zigzag gold thread all the way around the journal itself, and then obviously I did it around the journal cards as well. So that's gold thread all the way around it, and then I distressed it a little bit. You can see some dark spots here and there, so I used some vintage photo on there. So that's the way it looks, and here it is. So you open the flap, and here's all the goodness on the inside. So I used scrapbook paper for the inside, and I have this little coin pouch here, and it's got some tickets, just some leftover tickets that I didn't use. I just put that in there. I'm not going to open it up. And then I did some fussy cutting. It's funny, I have a brother cut scan and cut, and for some reason I decided to go ahead and do a fussy cut instead. So I fussy cut some images through the book. I used I want to say it's Dream Etc. Uh, Children's Tales uh, printables, and then I also used some scrapbooking paper, and then I just kind of pulled from some children's books here and there. So you're going to kind of see that through there. Um, so here I meant to make this as a pocket, and unfortunately I actually sewed this all the way down. So not to confuse Cindy at all, I decided to go ahead and put something over the top of it so she would see that. So then it became basically an accent piece. And I did punches throughout the book as well. And then this is basically a tuck. And I should find a card so I could show you that it's different places. So basically it's a tuck there, so she could put something there. I kind of distressed. I sandpapered through the book, and then I also used some inks to distress a little bit. Lots of real estate throughout the book so she can use and put what she wants. I didn't want to chunk this up too much because I wanted her to chunk it up herself. So it was trying to be really mindful of that. And then, of course, with that dress, I shredded some smaller pieces and attached some laces and made them as tabs. Here is a charm I made. Hopefully you can see this. And I'm just going to flip through. Again, some fussy cutting here. And then I inserted some more of the printables. And here I just rouged up some book paper and then added some cheesecloth. And again, all of the sewing I did through here, I used gold thread. It's the first time I've used it. It's definitely not as easy as to use as cotton thread, and so yeah, it was interesting. So I think they call this a tippin. And I'm still trying to learn my lingo. So um, here I just took. This is kind of going with the Beauty and the Beast here, and so I just kind of took that one of the book papers, and then I just attached some journaling paper to it for her to use. And here it gets tucked in this little bag. Like most, I'm sure I save bags that I get from different stores and venues, so that way I can use it through my books because I like the way it sounds. And then I just added some accent pieces here, the button, and then inside here is another little. I don't want to say it's like a journal page, but I mean, she could, I guess, write in it or make little notes if she wanted to, but it's basically a little book of different children's poems. So it's kind of front and back. And then I added some trim here. So there's that. I did a tag with the beast and then just added some more of that material here. So it's just a tuck. This isn't a flip, so it's just a tuck. And here is another part of a children's story, the Three Little Pigs. So I wanted to make sure that I got it all in there, so I kind of just did a fold out. I inserted a journal card, and then I also had this little, I want to say circle medallion. It's got the three little kids, and I basically made that into a tuck. Here's the center of one of the signature pages. I just added some little beads on the end of it. And then here we have one of the book pages for Cinderella. And the way it folded, I folded to where her head was kind of at the top of this. So I thought that went perfect there. Some ledger paper. I wasn't too excited about the print that was on the background here, which was little children's giraffes and things like that. So that's why I was covering it up. So, but you can see a little bit, you can see through this a little bit, so that's kind of cool too. So it kind of adds a little bit of dimension. Did a little book page pocket, and then again, so Dream Etc. had these, and basically she had these kind of like on individuals, and then she had like a collage on an 8.5 by 11. So I just kind of cut them apart a little bit. And then I had this card: my life, my joys, my pleasures, my hopes, my dreams, my treasures, my greatest loves, my very best work, my most cherished of gifts to the world, my children. So I thought that was totally appropriate. So more journaling space for her. And then this was Rockabye Baby, and then of course I fussy cut the baby. And here was another card that I had of a teddy bear, so I went ahead and kind of trimmed that down to fit the page and made it into a pocket. And we have a little bit of a bookmark there. And here's another tab. I wanted to make sure that I didn't have all the tabs just going in one direction. I tend to do that where everything is kind of facing one way or the other, so I wanted to kind of mix that up just a little bit. And here's another dangle that I made. And then I included a note card envelope so she could put something in there, and then I actually took one of the collages, the smaller portion of it, and just kind of adhered it to the top of the envelope to give it some pizzazz. And so the way this works is, this is signature on this side, on this spine, and then the other signature is on this side of a spine. So it overlaps each other like this. So I thought that was kind of cool. It may have been done before, I don't know, but like I said, I mainly got the inspiration from Kathy Orta. And here is an invisible paper clip. And then I just made a card, another journaling spot, and a little tuck here. Just added some pieces and scraps from some of the pieces that I've cut. And then, let me see if I can go to this side. Add a little tab here with the garment tag, or garment bin, and with a little dangle. And three little bears. Not three little bears, it's like the three little pigs. The three bears. So anyways, and I made her. She was, a lot of these aren't so happy looking, and I didn't want, well, if you really think about the whole part of children's stories back then was actually, from what I can understand, were kind of made to make the children scared so they wouldn't get out of bed, right? Because they were bedtime stories. But anyways, yeah, I was trying to find the happier of the kids in the Tim Holtz collection. So anyways, I found her. I think she's adorable. Put a little postcard in here. So this is a Walgreens bag that I get my medicine from. So I went ahead and used that. I kind of covered up the logo of the Walgreens with some book paper scraps. Here, it's a little fabric tip-in. Again, I wanted to kind of tone this down a little bit. And just pulling bits and pieces from my stash. So this is basically a place that she can use for a tuck if she wanted to. Here is some more of the printables from Dream Etc. And then here is another note card envelope that I use, and I use one of the collages here. And then I also made a dangle. Here is a pocket that I made out of the fabric and just stuffed some little goodies in there for her. And here's the center of the second signature. Again, I did some dangles here. This says love. And did a little tuck here. And there's one there. Here's another book page. Well, it's not a book page. It's a printable. I know that some people, I've heard some kind of ramblings on where people were like, it seems like the junk journals have kind of taken a different direction. A lot of people are using fancy prints, fancy digi-kits, and so forth and so forth. And it's not like a true meaning of junk journals. Kind of curious, whoever's watching this, if they had a comment or if they wanted to comment on what their thoughts are for junk journals are. I think junk is kind of, to me, is junk. And so it kind of seems funny to me to call it a junk journal. So I'm a little mixed on that, but it seems to be the word that everybody associates the homemade or the handmade journals with. And so I'm trying to get used to that whole concept, but I can kind of see where some of the controversies come from, because usually junk journals, where it first started, was actually made of using junk, things that you would normally throw away. You incorporate it into a journal and then you call it the junk journal. But now junk journals can be pretty fancy. And I go either way. Like I said, I'm still kind of getting used to the concept of calling it a junk, especially when I go and I use my scrapbook paper, or I use my digital prints and things like that. But kind of want to I try to intermix a little bit of each, a little bit of junk like my Walgreens bag and so forth. And but it's kind of interesting. So I mean, if you have a view on it, I would totally be interested in hearing what you thought of it. So this here is a pocket. And then I just rouged some of the fabric here. And here's the other side of the Walgreens bag. And then I just put some bookmarks there, book tags. And then here we've got Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. And he didn't fit. He was kind of on the edge here, and then rather do a fold out, I decided to go ahead and fussy cut him, and then I kind of just plopped him right there and kind of popped him on some pop dots too, so that way he kind of stood out a little bit more. So, and then I attached a fabric tab, and a Peter Rabbit. It's kind of interesting when I go through my stash and then you kind of look at the printables, and it's interesting to see how well some of this stuff kind of coordinates with each other. So that was kind of cool. So here is the top of that flap here. I didn't want to cut it off. I wanted to kind of incorporate it. And so that's what I did. I incorporated it, and I made a pocket on the top. So there's additional tags here. And I just kind of loaded that with some tags, and then I did a little embellishment here. And then I sewed around it with the gold. And the pocket, of course, has a punch. And then I added another little, I think it's originally a bookmark, so hey diddle diddle. And then I went ahead and just I went ahead and just included the extras that I have had of this kit, so that way she could do what she wanted with it. So um, I didn't want to just stash it because I can print these. I mean, I own this, so I can print these as much as I want. So I want to just go ahead and send her with some extra goodies. And this here is just to show that there's a pocket back here. And then this little folder flips out. Again, this was a swap that I did like ages ago, and I kept it because I thought he was super cute. So I thought that totally was fitting with the theme. And it's just paper tear of uh, it's kind of like a huge, like you wet a paper bag or scrapbook paper, and you just keep wetting it, and then you kind of just distress it a little bit, and so and you tear it. So that's what that is. He's super cute, huh? And then I just put some of the extra cutouts that I put in here that I was going to use in the book, and I didn't use in the book. So again, rather than just hoarding it, I thought I would just send that on her, on its way. So that way, Cindy, if Cindy wanted to put more in this book, she totally could do that. And so again, a pocket behind here, and then of course this holds stuff. So from my stash to yours, Cindy. And that's it. Like I said, I love the way it turned out. I keep thinking that I should put more in this book, and yeah, I think I need to give her a chance to do that. What do you think? So that's it. I think the colors all coordinate really well. The tassel is on this little clip, so she could take this off if she wanted to, or she could put it on the back of the book if she wants to, if that makes more sense to her. So that turned out super cute. And yeah, that's it. So all you do is to close it is put that down there, and then that over there, and then just close it up. And like I said, it's pretty chunky. The only thing, Cindy, if you watch this later, when you go to close this, if you slide it this way, it might catch on the back end of this button. So you literally have to kind of pick it up and over. And then I gave you enough of this uh, skirt. I reinforced it with the gold thread too, just so it matches through. And I gave you enough of it so that way if it gets a little thicker, you can wrap it around. So I'm hoping it gets thicker. I'm hoping that you have fun playing with this and maybe add to it. I don't even know if you have kiddos or grandkids, so I'm not sure. So maybe you'll let me know. And yeah, and if you wanted to, you could totally put a picture in this. So that's it. I need to get this out in the mail, and I just wanted to do the video and have it. I'm not going to post this video until after she receives it, but I will post it as soon as she gets it. So it'll be probably a couple of days from now. So it's Wednesday. This will probably be posted like on Wednesday or on Friday. Sorry. And that's it. Until next time, you guys, I hope you have a fantastic week. Bye now.